So one of my favorite topics is talking about marketing books after the launch period is done. And book launches used to be so crucial. Long before the internet, your book had like 6 weeks to sink or swim. Then it would disappear off bookstore shelves if it wasn't selling well, and no one would ever hear from it again. And that is just not true anymore. Now your book can live on forever. You can relaunch it whenever you want. If you didn't like your launch, just do it over again or don't launch at all. So many options. So today I'm going to show you more about building an author platform with an email list, what a reader magnet is and how it helps you, the way sales funnels can be a gift to your audience and not pushy and aggressive, a little bit about bringing people to your funnel, the tech you will need, and I have some resources to share with you. And these books are some book funnels that I created for clients, and this one right here is my book. You can see all these nonfiction books and then like, woo, one little fiction one there. So my name is Carla Choate, and I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in creative writing. From the time I was 12, I said, I'm going to be a novelist. That's it. That's all I plan to do. And, I was so fixated on it. And my dad would go, if you would just apply yourself, you could do so well in science. But I didn't. I was not interested in applying myself. I was going to be a novelist. As it turns out, writing one novel every 10 years is not a sustainable career for a writer, sadly. So it was much more challenging than I expected to be writing on a regular basis. So what I ended up doing back in 2009 is I published my novel, and then I started publishing my friends' novels. And KDP was just starting, so we started doing print on demand with Kindle and, well, print on demand is the print side of it, so CreateSpace and Kindle books, and it was wild. It was like, oh, set your book for free for 24 hours and you'll sail up the charts, and then you'll have this momentum, it'll start making sales, which is no longer the case. But we were experimenting with all sorts of fun things. And that was the first time I realized that I really enjoyed the marketing side. And I was like, I'm from a family of academics. I'm a creative. Oh, how could I possibly like business and marketing? But I loved it. And I especially love sales funnels. It's a way of putting this path together and kind of like a puzzle, and it's so much fun. So I look at sales funnels a little bit differently than how you usually see it. As you can tell, this is not the typical funnel shape, but basically the way I look at it is you have a home on the internet, your website, and that is if you are writing, say, business books, that's going to be where you have offers, where you say, if you want to hire me as a coach, it's going to be there. If you're a fiction or a memoir writer, you probably have here your back catalog of books and other things that you want to share with people. And the internet is this vast forest, and people are just wandering through. They have no idea that you have awesome stuff over here. And so you build a gate, and you put a sign on the gate that invites them in. And that is your lead magnet, opt-in, freebie, all of those mean the same thing. And in the funnels that I usually build, we use a first chapter or a teaser chapter from a book as that invitation. Please give me your email address and permission to contact you, and I will provide you with this piece of a book that has some value to you. And the people who are interested in that will open the gate and step onto the path. This is a crucial step that a lot of people are missing. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in a moment, but we're so afraid of sending emails and bothering people with them that we don't. And it's like we've opened this gate and invited people in, and then we just dropped their hand and left them wandering, confused in the woods. They don't know where to go. And so the purpose of the emails and any other community spaces you might have is to lay down the stepping stones that guide them to your door. So they always know what step is next. They always feel really clear about what they should be doing, how you can help them, and you kind of rise to meet them wherever they're at along here. So by the time they get to your door, they understand who you are, what you do, or what kinds of books you write, and why they might want to purchase those books. The key is always what's in it for them. So, no matter what kind of book you're writing, whether you're trying to sell it or give it away, you got to think about your tagline, your hook. What is it that's going to make somebody go, "Ooh, I want to read that"? So, for a memoir, it's that human experience. And some memoirs we love to read because somebody had a really different life from ours, and we're so curious. What was it like to have those experiences? And other ones are very relatable experiences like, oh, yeah, that classic childhood. I remember that. I remember that. So tell them, how are we going to commune through this book? If you're writing business nonfiction, you're usually teaching something or perhaps inspiring someone towards something, motivating them. And that might lead naturally into an offer. It might be, here's something that I have learned how to do, and I'm going to teach you. And if you would like me to help you with it, here's where you can hire me. And with fiction, we're looking at entertainment. Think about the characters, the themes, the interests, the hobbies that would connect with that audience who enjoys your kind of book. So, what is in that fiction book that's going to be entertaining to certain kinds of people, and what will tell them, yes, this book is for me? So, this is an example of the fiction book that I've been working on for ever and ever and ever, and I'm going to try to work on today. But I'm pretty pleased with my little tagline here. I think that this is a pretty good grabber. It says, revealing his secret could get her everything she's ever wanted. Too bad she's fallen in love with him. So, this is, of course, a romance novel. So let's get back to the topic of the emails. I know we all get lots and lots and lots of emails in our inbox, so we think we're being nice when we don't send emails out. But you got to remember that if somebody signed up for your author newsletter list, they asked to hear from you. They want to know what's going on with your books. They want to hear behind the scenes and when is a new book coming out. And it's part of building a community and building the know, like, and trust. If you only email people when you have a promotion, then they're going to forget who you are and how they got on your list. So if it's been 6 months and now you're launching a book, they're going to go, wait, who is this person? Unsubscribe. So this is the opportunity to be building the relationship over time. I recommend once you're gathering people onto that email list that you are emailing at least once a week. And I recommend that you think about how can you make your emails something that people are excited to open. Even if they got 500 emails that day, they see yours in their inbox and they go, oh, good. I can't wait to open this. And so, one little trick for that is to be gathering things that interest you and inspire you throughout the week so that you can share them when it comes time to write that email. So, if you wrote or if you read an interesting post, if you saw a quote that really spoke to you, save them all up and then send them out in your emails and become this hub of information and resources for the people who are interested in your themes and your topics so that they become used to seeing you as the source of all of this value. The lead magnet, I love to call it that. That's again the like teaser of the book that they give you in exchange for the email address. And it's okay for it to be really specific about who it's for. This is another trap that people fall into with thinking, oh, I have to make it appealing to everybody. Everybody is a potential reader of my book. And that's true, but you can make it easier on yourself. So you know the kind of person who's probably going to be most interested in your book. Speak directly to them. Don't be afraid of turning off the other people. If they really love your topic, then they'll sign up too, and you won't kick them out of bed for eating crackers. But the magnet is going to draw those perfect ideal clients to you if you can be really clear, specific, and unapologetic about who you're writing for. And if it turns some people off, that's all the better because the stronger the magnet repels, the stronger it will attract as well. And one of the reasons why you want to be building your author platform on email is Two things. One is that when you're building your author platform on a social media platform, which there are great reasons to use a social media platform and to build up a following there depending on your goals, but your content is gate kept by an algorithm. So the algorithm shows your content to some of your followers, not all of them. It is a computer program that tries to guess who's going to want to see it. With email, there is no algorithm. Everyone gets your emails, and it's up to you to make the subject line interesting enough for them to want to open it. So you have so much more control there, especially as writers. And you also own your email list. And this is something that you'll hear marketers say, that this is when you're building your audience on a social media platform, you're building on rented land. And what that means is that you could get hacked. You could have Instagram suddenly decide they don't like you and kick you out. And you lose access to communicate with all those people that you've been building community with. When you have an email list, nobody can take that away from you except for the individual people who gave you permission to contact them. And it's important to note here that when you have an email list, you build it onto a platform that's known as a CRM. So that's something like, don't use MailChimp, but a lot of people know MailChimp, and I'll get into that in a few minutes. But you can download a spreadsheet of your contacts there. So it's good to back up your contacts every once in a while, like once a month or so. So that way, if you get kicked out of that platform or it crashes or you get hacked or whatever, you still have those email addresses. You can upload them into a new system. So that is what it means, rented versus owned land. So I'm going to take you on a little tour of a book funnel that I created for my client, and this is a nonfiction business book. So the first page is the opt-in page. This is the little sign that's on the gate and invites them in. It's got the hook that says this chapter is for these kind of people who are interested in learning this stuff. And if you're somebody who's thinking about contributing to a multi-author collaborative book and you see, oh, 3 ways to market your chapter to grow your business, I want to learn that. And it's free. So you put in your information and it redirects to a thank you page. The thank you page is the most powerful part of a sales funnel because even if those people that requested your book or chapter never open the email, they are very likely to see this page. So you want to think carefully about what would be the best thing to put on this page. I like to put, if you have a community, to invite people there to continue to nurture that relationship. If you have a YouTube channel, if you have an Instagram, anything like that. Some people also put paid offers on here. It's called a tripwire. If you offer something small, like, okay, I gave you the free book, but if you'd also like a copy in the mail, then you could purchase that here, something along those lines. And we also teach people to look in their email and find the thing that they asked for so that they get used to seeing it and so that their email system learns that they want to hear from you. So they start getting emails, one a day, to kind of introduce them into your world before they start getting that once a week newsletter kind of roundup. So first is delivering the chapter or the teaser that they requested. And I like to put in some information about what inspired you to write that book and let them in to see your soul with that. And then over the course of the next few days, you give them more value, you give them more background about you, and in the final email, you make an offer. And if you're writing fiction, then that offer might be, come check out my backlist on my website or on Amazon if you have previous books. If you are a business author, then that's going to be something like this one, which is, oh, this is the delivery page because that didn't allow me to attach the chapter to the emails. So we put it on a delivery page and we went ahead and put, you can buy the whole book on Amazon too if you want to, because this is just the chapter. But that final email for her was a discovery call to talk about, do you want to participate in a collaborative book with our company? And I do these funnels as a service. I do them as a 1-day VIP day. I just take your stuff and your website and I build you a sales funnel in 1 day. So behind the scenes, this is what it looks like. You've got the landing page where it asks if you want to get the free chapter. Maybe it has reviews or your bio, redirects to a thank you page, and you've got off different ideas of what you can put on there. And in the meantime, they're getting this series of emails to introduce them to you. And then it leads to some kind of an offer. And all of this is automated. So you don't have to be spending your time manually remembering to send out these emails and letting people fall through the cracks. This system is all taking care of it for you. And if you have something to sell, it's doing the selling for you also. All you promote is this first part. This is the top of the funnel page. You promote that, and the whole machine here takes care of doing the selling. So I don't know about you, I hate selling, so it's ideal. A funnel is also the key to passive income, and books are a great opportunity for passive income. I have passive income from my first novel, Whole, and it's very, very small amount because I don't promote it at all. But I set up a funnel for it in 2009 before I knew what a funnel was, and it still makes sales every single month because of search engine optimization. It's a very specific niche romance topic. And if people are searching for that topic, they are going to find my book. And that machine never turns off. It's been running for 13 years, day or night. Anytime somebody is searching and finds it and wants to make a purchase, then they do. And I wake up to notifications saying, hey, somebody bought your book. So the funnel can be partially passive, it can be fully passive, but it does take a lot of upfront work to create that system and that machine. And then to make it fully passive, SEO is one way, but it's very slow. And then a lot of people do use paid ads. And if you can get those ads going right, then they will pay for themselves in the book sales, but it's a little challenging to get right. So this is another way of seeing that real funnel shape. And what we're talking about is, this is the traffic part. This is bringing strangers and attracting them to that landing page that offers your free chapter, your free teaser, your free book, your reader magnet. So this is the key part where you need to start promoting. And there are a bunch of different ways that you can bring people to that top of funnel. And this is called traffic, website traffic. There is partnership traffic, which is what we're doing here today. I'm meeting all of you in someone else's audience and sharing with you what I do. And so I get the opportunity to form relationships with new people. That is a form of traffic. That is partnership traffic. There is inbound organic, which is my personal favorite. This is things like posting on social media and waiting for people to notice and come to you and go, oh, I'm interested in what you're doing. Then there's outbound organic. This is like cold messaging, which I completely avoid and try not to do ever. But some people have lots of success with that. And then there's ads, which again can be pretty tricky to get right, but once you get them working, they are powerful. And I have just started a membership that I'm going to tell you about in a moment, where I'm helping people with all these different aspects of traffic for whatever they want to promote, whether it's, your link on Amazon or your website or your YouTube channel or anything at all. But I want to talk tech for just a moment. And I think it's important to mention, because as authors, you may have heard of bookfunnel.com. And strangely, it is not a book funnel, and it doesn't create book funnels. It is very useful for promotion, and if you want to deliver a advanced reader copy for reviewers, it's great at that, but it will not make you a book funnel. So in order to create a funnel, you're going to need somewhere where you can host these pages, these web pages. You'll need an email system that has an opt-in form and the ability to create these automated sequences, which MailChimp does not do until you're paying quite a lot of money. And then if you have like a clarity call, then you need a booking link. If you are selling products on your website, then you need to set that up. And there's a couple of different ways to do this. For fiction authors, I recommend kind of bootstrapping it with different free or low-cost programs, because when your end product is a book, it's pretty low cost, and it's not like every sale is going to bring in $1,000. Sometimes for the coaching clients and the nonfiction, that can be the case. And then something like Kartra, which is an all-in-one platform, can be quite useful because it puts all of these different things in one place for one price. But I did a little bit of research about the best email platforms for people getting started or who have a small list, and MailerLite was definitely the winner. So I have a blog post that goes over why I'm recommending MailerLite or Aweber or Flowdesk over MailChimp. What happened? I pressed on a link. No. Here we go. So I have some resources. I'm going to share a link with you that goes to this page that has links for each of these different things. So on my YouTube channel, I put out a ton of videos about marketing and selling books, building sales funnels, driving traffic, all sorts of things. So that's obviously completely free. I then have the membership where you can learn about bringing traffic to your offers. That's $50 a month. I have a follow-along do-it-yourself course, and I do the funnel done for you. And that is it. Q&A time. Let me stop the share and come back.
Thank you so much. Okay, any questions for Carolyn? Macy, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I'm in Los Angeles. Great talk. So what if you have a book that you're going to launch and you're going to get a booth at the LA Times Festival of Books or the Tucson Festival of Books. Now, these are places where allegedly 130,000 human beings will walk through. Any input or strategies that you would do or advise your clients at a really world-renowned book fair of how to get reviewers and how to get translated leads?
That's a great question. I am definitely more of an expert in the digital online space, but I have been to a book fair. I did have a booth at a book fair a while ago when I had a publishing company. And I think even there, one of the big keys is the hook, the tagline, having a poster behind you or on the table that has that, like, this is what's interesting about this book. Draw people's attention, make them curious, make them go, I want to hear more about that.
And then, Carolyn, how do you tastefully get their data without seeming like a used car salesperson?
For being in person, you would want to have, like a clipboard where they can write down their email address and their name, and shift the mindset into what kind of value am I giving them? I have something that is super awesome that these people are going to love. So why wouldn't I offer it to them? So whatever it is, some freebie or anything else, get a coupon code for joining the email list, or get a behind the scenes thing about the book, or, deleted chapters, and be proud of that and say, oh, would you like to join my email list? You'll get this, this, and this. And if not, that's okay too. But just being proud of what you have to offer and knowing that it's valuable and people will want it.
That's excellent. That is very useful. Thank you.
I want to brainstorm off what you were saying there, Carolyn, in that you can get some bookmarks printed up, and if people are at a book fair, are they the type of people that are going to like a bookmark? Because I like bookmarks. I still have bookmarks I've had for years and years. And then you can maybe give out a Werther's candy or something, like you get a big, huge bag from somewhere with, each one when they sign up your list, hand them that. Or if you have the bookmark, something really artful on one side, and like Carolyn was saying, some kind of sign up here for a deleted chapter that no one else has got access to, because you create that urgency, that sense of I'm going to get something nobody else has, or, sign up here for the teaser chapter, and then give them that little bit of a hook that Carolyn had on her book over at the beginning, is that revealing a secret could get her everything. But she fell in love with him or something like that. That would fit in a bookmark, something like that. So I'm sure, Carolyn, you can probably
be funneling
too, but yeah,
under those people.
Yeah.
Cool, Rusty. I love the bookmark concept because I used to always have bookmarks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Questions? Abica.
That was really awesome, Carolyn. There were so many things I was like, yeah, I wanted to know more about. I want to understand the reason why you're recommending those other services rather than MailChimp. Is it because they're standing alone, or are you integrating them with a WordPress site?
They you integrate them in the sense that they'll have an opt-in form that you can easily embed on whatever WordPress or any other site that you're using. The reason I'm recommending those is that I discovered rather unfortunately in the middle of doing BookFunnel Build VIP Day that MailChimp has taken away the ability to do those automated sequences. And for the free level, you can't even schedule your emails. You have to manually send every one. They are also really sneaky about it. They say that they do email automation, and what they mean is that when you're at the middle paid level, you can send a single welcome email, but not a sequence. So it makes it useless for funnels, very frustrating. I think they nickel and dime people, and I think that they're really dishonest about it. And I had a client discover that he didn't even realize that he was paying $80 a month for MailChimp alone. And that's just not worth it. Their
Yes.
functionality is definitely not worth $80 a month. The
And
all-in-one I recommended is $99 a month. I mean, come on. So MailerLite is free up to 1,000 contacts on your list and does the automations. So that's why they were my like gold star. Recommend this to everybody.
what is that one called?
MailerLite.
I'm
Mhm.
sorry, there was overlap. Mailer.
Lite. Lite.
And that one, you're at like a mid-level. You were talking about like a mid-level subscription.
So a lot of these email platforms depend on how many leads you have on your list. And I think it's very rare that I have a client that's got more than 1,000 leads on their list. Like that's a pretty hefty list for especially solopreneurs. So MailerLite has full functionality for free under 1,000 leads.
How many different funnels can you make at a time?
I'll have to get in there and play around with the tags, but you should be able
I'm
to
just
go for
curious. It's okay. I'm not expecting you to be the FAQ on the site.
This is called segmenting. So you tag people that come onto the list depending on where they came from. So if they came from this page that offered this thing, then they get tagged to get that item. And then you can do all kinds of fancy things about like, well, if they haven't purchased something, then send them this email. If they have, then send them this other email. And you get this. I had a lot of fun in school with the if then statements, and that's pretty much what email segmentation is. So I find it super fun.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm finding it a
Wow.
lot of fun with my CRM that I can go, when this happens, then do this and assign it a task and stuff. And yeah, it's the when then and the if then. Yeah, they're fun. Sandy, go ahead.
Okay, I'd just like to just mention something that I kind of think of just because I am a marketing student. So, if you don't mind, Carolyn, can I just say a few things?
Take it away. Absolutely.
Okay. So, that lady had asked about going to the kind of book fair or anywhere. I think a really good kind of marketing tactic is kind of go to like some place where they make t-shirts and get your book title on it. Like if I kind of got like Clemgarge, my story has that kind of word, Clemgarge. If I got it made on my t-shirt and I wear it everything where I'm traveling, where I'm going, because then people are curious, like, what's that word? And then they're more prone to ask you. And usually I know word of mouth isn't like the greatest thing, but sometimes, they'll go purchase a book. You just never know. And you can strike a conversation too as well. So I think that's something that I would also recommend, like at a book fair or anywhere you're going.
Mhm.
Excellent.
That is great. Like, yeah, Carolyn, if you have something to add to that, please do. I was just thinking that having a bag made, because guerrilla marketing means like take advantage of the digital platforms, and Carolyn's, training today of things you can do. Look at what Macy said about a book fair, and then what Shandy said about get an odd word or an odd character name from your book that is not in the cultural lexicon yet, but have it on a t-shirt and wear it everywhere, and people ask you questions. And I think the Moccasin Telegraph still does work to a degree. I mean, the Moccasin Telegraph, you don't have people getting lost in a forest. You have people looking at your t-shirt and going, well, that's an interesting word. What does that mean? And I am the kind of person that will ask, what? So
I did have a t-shirt made on Canva that says hashtag always be funneling.
Awesome. Oh, that's fun.
I was thinking about bags too. If you had a bag with your cover image on it, because at a book fair, people are just like gathering stacks of books and they need to carry them. So that would be something that would be really practical and useful, and they'll be grateful for.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know how expensive that is though.
Macy, do you have another question?
Yeah. Just because I have these book fairs coming up that I'm one is in March and one is in April. Carolyn, you mentioned in your staggered levels of membership, one of them included letters to like media and press. Could you touch upon what works to say in these letters and what is just like, don't say this? Because I'm a novice and I prefer to know like how not to put my foot in my mouth.
This goes back to the same key again. What's in it for them? So when you're writing a press release, there has to be a story there. There has to be something. If they're going to, interview you on the news, what's it going to be about? It's not, I wrote a book, because lots of people wrote books. So I wrote a book because my father revealed a family secret and I am finally sharing it with the world the way that he wanted. That's a story. Or I took up writing for the first time in my 50s and now I'm self-publishing my first book. That's a story. So in terms of just press release, definitely be thinking about what is the hook, the angle, the story that's going to make it newsworthy. And then also, same thing if you're pitching to be like on podcasts or anything like that, you definitely want to think about, I'm going to benefit your audience by telling this part of my story. I'm going to inspire your audience with my story of how I wrote this book. And in terms of what to avoid, I did used to do submissions. I used to read the submissions for my college literary magazine. And somebody they sent in their story, and their cover letter was this massive sob story guilt trip. Like, I have been so sick and it's my last dream to have this published. The writing was horrible, and I was really mad because I was like, do not try to emotionally blackmail me into publishing this terrible story. Maybe that's a little harsh, but
no, you know what, you're right, because there are people that are like, I meet them in these Zoom rooms. They're like, I'm finally gonna tell my story, and then some other younger lady is like, and if you die before you tell it, just send it to me and I'll publish it. And I'm just like, that is not the way I want to leave the earth.
no, you definitely want to read it for quality before you make promises like that too. But it's kind of all in how you frame it, because again, like, she could have framed it in a way that was a more interesting story that would be newsworthy. Like, I wrote this story because I was on my deathbed and I was inspired by this and this. Like, maybe a local news story would want to pick that up. But because it was just a very woe is me, real downer, and really like sounded like, you better publish this because I am in a bad spot. So
Yeah, or the thing is like so this book that I'm actually helping someone promote a book. It's called Dental Tourism in Mexico, Cabo San Lucas and Beyond. And basically by going to these places you save 70%. And the author just wants to keep saying save 70%, save 70%. And I'm like, to me that just, you need like a little bit of a story. Like, I'm a white girl, I'm afraid to go to Mexico. Like, that's just real.
it sounds like a really fascinating topic for a book because so many of us know nothing about that. And so even just watching someone go through the experience of traveling there, finding the right doctor, what was the experience? Like, that would be so interesting. Yeah, never compete on price. Forget about discounts.
No.
Always compete on value. So
I was just going to ask Cora if she'd done dentistry in Mexico because Cora's from Vancouver. I'm from BC and she's in Mexico right now. And I went, okay, great. And Macy, what you were saying, about tours like dental tourism, with travel or with memoir, you have to have a psychological, philosophical component to make it have broad spectrum appeal to people. You have what is a well audience, not an ocean or a swamp or a puddle, but a well, is that people who are interested in saving money on tourism are deeply interested, but there's maybe not a wide group. But as soon as you make the tourism have some philosophical or psychological components, some story, as you're saying, then it's going to have broader spectrum appeal.
And you mean beyond just saying save 70%? Because that's just like a Valpak ad. Oh, save 70% at this dry cleaner.
Yeah,
exactly.
no.
It's not to never mention that, but don't push only on that aspect of it for sure.
Carolyn, did you tell us at all how many words is like a minimum to maximum on a press release?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
I usually aim for trying to have it to one page, including
I was going to say one page as well. You're sending them to busy people who want a quick glance, a quick like, yes, interested, no, not interested. And the submission to my college newsletter was like 5 or 6 handwritten pages, so it was a slog, and you don't feel like it's a slog.
Well,
like podcast speakers will have like a one sheet, and it'll have your picture and your bio and what you talk about and a few links, so it's very visually appealing. It's easy to see. It's easy for your eyes to figure out where to go.
Have you ever gotten anyone on any podcasts like Joe Rogan or any of the places?
Ooh, I've never had anybody quite that high up. I have my own podcast, and I have been doing interviews for the last year with different people in the book industry. So Rusty has been on my podcast. Ambika Devi has been on my podcast.
Cool.
Yeah, so I love interviewing people, and just I'm very focused in on, like, I build sales funnels. That's it. That's all I do. So I love to bring in other people who can help with different aspects of book writing and publishing and marketing and selling. But
I'm going to send you Dr. Mark McMahon in case you want to interview him on your podcast. And in case you want to tell him, I've already texted him your services because I think they sound really valuable to me.
Great.
Awesome.
If there's any other further burning questions about book funnels, I have put Carolyn's information in the chat. Do follow her on YouTube, because her YouTube channel has some really good resources and lessons and learnings on there of, some of the things you can do yourself. And I'm really grateful, Carolyn, that you are joining us this weekend and sharing your information and your skill with us. So everyone, keep in touch with Carolyn. And thank you for Carolyn.